Hey guys, today I'm working on something a little fun, something I'm used to working on, so let me just show you guys real quick. So what I want to do is I'm working on another Hive Tyrant, and I don't know if it's going to be winged or not, because it's going to be all dependent on this right here. I have a old Dreadnought. I'm going to have him standing on top of it, and I'm going to try to have him holding a pilot in his hand, like he just destroyed the thing. So this is more of a diorama. I really like this kit. So I'm going to open it up. We're going to look through it. I got a bunch of parts. I got my special zoanthrope head that I use for all my tyrants. I have these printed claws, which I'm going to cut up a little bit to put onto these hands, so they're nice and long. And I have this. I'm gonna have to cut it off and put it on a proper hand so it's not like overly detailed compared to the rest, but we're working with a lot today. So I'm just gonna go over some of the stuff I like to have when I do like these Kitbash kind of things and I mix resin and plastic. Gorilla Glue, it's the best kind of glue for this. Thin cement for filling little gaps and just gluing stuff together. Sprue Goo, which I've made myself using runners and this. My clippers, of course. Drill and hobby knife. And finally, Milliput. Milliput's great, you just mix up both of them. Put it in there and it hardens like a rock. It's perfect. I can't tell you how many models I have that like are just full of Milliput. But let's get started. Let's open up the box first. This is like, in my opinion, one of the best Tyranid kits. I'm getting a pre-printed torso. I got one, it was a little too small. That's where I got this extra waist from. So that way I can build both units in the box, but I'm just gonna open that. Oh, I opened it upside down. There we go. The instructions. I built this thing so many times, I don't need the instructions anymore, but one 60 to 65 millimeter base, one sprue containing the wings and flight legs and some of the guns, and one sprue containing the torso and other parts. So I'm going to assemble parts of it first, and then we're going to start looking at like what I need to do to mix parts up. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, I need to clip out the torso. Boom. This is like the perfect kit. I like working with like the plastic kits. It's just, sometimes I get stuff printed because the plastic kits are so much, but this is only $50 and you get 2 whole kits and it's a big kit. The first one I built was a Swarm Lord. And I built him, I've shown him off before. He was built with, oh, that just popped out. He was built to look like a psyker, like he was psychically posing. But I'm looking at him now, and if I did him again now, he'd look so much better. It was my first ever like big Kitbash. So like I was super new at everything. Now I just gotta clean off everything. But yeah, for this video, I think I'm just going to be doing the assembly and not painting him yet, because the assembly of these things takes quite a bit. Quite a bit. There we go. We clean off. I really wish they would start like undergating these kits, because I also do those like Gundam kits, and all the big ones are undergated. So that way the runner is here, the sprue parts are here, so I don't have to like sand stuff down and fix it. But that's not that bad of a problem. grab this. Just dab up a little bit. What I like about the cement is the cement melts the plastic together, forcing it to like bond into a single piece. That way, like I know it's not, I've been told several times this is not the way I'm meant to be using the plastic cement, but it does what it's supposed to do. So I don't think it's an issue. There we go. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to get the extra chimney stocks first. There we go. I was thinking, I'm like, man, this is one less step than I did last time. There we go. Torso complete. Now comes the fun part. Let me see if this 3D printed bit fits. Oh, and it fits perfectly. There we go. Now I'm just going to cut out some extra pieces and let's see what we're working with. So first thing, I'm going to cut out the tail, or the multiple sets of tails, because this one gives you some options if you're going to build him winged or if you're going to build him standing. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to make this one winged because I feel like the wings would take away from the pose, or because I'm going to pose him, I want the pose to be the center thing, but I also don't like the legs of the regular one. I want a wider stance, so I might have to take parts from the flying one, put them on the walking one, and then when I build a flying one, use parts from a walking one. But we'll see. Got a couple pieces already. Let's finish this up. So I just want to show this. This is the difference in the tails. The land one has this thin little whippy tail, and the flying one has this thick, like, punchy tail. What I want to try is I have a leftover piece from a stone crusher. I kind of want to try blending to give him like a flail tail, like a stegosaurus. I think that'd look really cool, but we'll see. I got my legs, my flying ones, which are pointed. I could cut the points off and just give him a wider stance, because the goal is to have him like standing, or I guess to show it, he'd be standing like this. I'd cut this out, the little chest cavity, and then I'd have one in his hand. So I think the wider stance will benefit that, or I could go one wide, one not wide. I've got a lot of options, so let's see. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off this extra talon part, put it into the bits box, because no matter what I do, I know my other flying one isn't going to have taloned feet. So, just... there we go. Now it's a normal-sized foot. And if I change my mind, easy as can be. And if I want to put it on the smaller stance one, a little more cutting required, but I can do it. I just got to clean it off now. Make sure it's nice and flush. It's a brand new hobby knife blade, and I'm like, man, I haven't cut myself with this one yet, so give it time. There we go. Nice and flush. Let me clip that toenail. There we go. One down. The other one's hiding from me. Oh, it's hiding from me on the sprue I haven't cut it off of yet. But here we go. I cut off the bottoms, and now I have two very wide stanced legs. Let's see. There we go. So I got those, and they don't quite fit. No, they do. There we go. So yeah, just got to get to work and start planning. Oh, let me grab. There we go. You'll love to see when printed bits just fit perfectly. Now I just gotta nip out. One thing I like about assembling is I can sit back in my chair a little bit more. Because when I'm painting, I'm like hunched over like this. But when I'm just building, it's much easier. There we go. Nipped out the regular plastic waste connector. I'm building both. And when my torso comes in, I will build my final Flyrant, I think. I think the Flyrant is the one that I'm building for that. Let me grab the crazy glue. There we go. I love the applicator on this. I can't tell you how many times this applicator has been like the best thing ever. Slide that in and push. There we go. One torso or tail complete. One more to go, which will be finished literally right now. There we go. It's always like the biggest problem to glue plastic to resin, at least for me. So like I always try to avoid it, but with this Hive Tyrant thing, it's like no one's just selling the plastic waste connector. It's like the entire point. So I gotta add a little bit more glue and then just leave this alone for forever, hopefully. Go, set that down. There we go. I just gotta pinch this in place for a little bit so that way it glues nice and tight. And then I'm going to need to do a little bit of gap filling, but that's fine. So I'm going to have to repose this slightly to keep this gun up. None of this is glued at all, but that's the general idea of how I want this guy posed. I'm going to cut out this portion right here, have him standing probably on these two, and then I don't know, have some stuff scattered around here, some cork, so that way it looks like there's like an impact crater almost. But yeah, let's. Also, I'm gonna have to like mess this guy up a bit more, like drill some holes, cut some slashes into him, make him look real messed up. Okay, so I decided to put one flying leg and one non-flying leg on each pair. So here is the first one. If you look from the bottom, you can tell which one is not and which one is. But this one, I think it's going to give him a more relaxed stance because I'm going to have him standing on rocks. And this one, he has like a toe down. So I think that just makes him look more like he's standing. I ended up going with this one to stand on top of the Dreadnought because I think it just gives it a much more like mighty, like planting your foot down. He's gonna have like an open hand. Where is it? On the sprue. I'm looking for a specific piece to show you guys. Oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, it is here. See this sword right here that's right above my eye? I'm gonna have it be an empty hand with the sword planted into the Dreadnought and him holding up the guy. And I think that's just gonna look really cool. I think it's gonna look cool. Hopefully it looks cool. He's gonna be much taller than your regular Hive Tyrant. Oh no. I will always build for disadvantage as opposed to building and posing for advantage because he just gets so much cooler. You get a lot cooler posing. So yeah, let's let this glue dry and let's get going. Okay, so I figured out how I want to do this. I'm going to have him like this. Hold on. There we go. He's going to be posed like this. Foot resting here. I'm gonna have the coffin, or no, this is better. I'm gonna have him like this, posed like this way, and boom. And I guess to give an equivalent, let me grab the bone saber arm, just like a sword plunged in right here. And of course, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work to get this piece out, because the idea is he bursts it open. And here's my other one. It's doing a squat. I just realized. Hold on. Let me get the camera ready. There we go. He's doing a squat, so I think that's pretty funny. He's literally just hanging out. But there we go. It's all coming together. I'm gonna have to scatter these pieces around the base, and if they don't show up, they don't show up. That's fine with me. So we are getting there. Okay. He's on it. I realize there's a better way to pose him. It's like this. I think this looks much better and will just be more dynamic, I think. Now, my problem is I need to get I just flung that thing. I need to get this part out. So I thought about using the soldering iron. However, I don't know how it would react to fine cast, so I'm not going to, because I don't want to choke myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this over and over and over and over, and all I care about is getting this piece out. So, wish me luck. Slowly but surely, I'm getting it. So, give me a few minutes. I'm going to do this without the camera so I can actually, like, get into it a little easier. But we're getting there. Okay. There we go. I popped that off. And I got the little face. So, let me show you what the idea is here. The concept, I guess. So, the idea is this hand. There we go. We'll be holding onto it like this, over top this. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm super excited. I still have to do like a ton of damage to the chassis itself, and then figure out how I'm putting the arms, the legs, those sort of things on it. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Super excited to see how this turns out. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. Like, I already have 2 winged tyrants, I already have 1 leg and 1 swarm lord. I don't need to make more, but, well, if I ever want to run like six tyrants and a swarm lord would be pretty funny. But yeah, let me just set this up and we can get back to cutting this guy up. Okay, so I made a couple changes. I got him like this, and what I'm going to do, instead of having the hand hold this piece, I'm going to have the hand holding its, arm. And I'm going to get paper clips, do a little bit of Dremel work, and have it look like wires are being pulled out. Because I do still need to put some wiring to make it look like he's being torn apart. But look at that. It's unrecognizable from when it started. Okay. So this is ready. Next thing I need to do is I cut out the bone blade, and I want it to be impaled into him. Just like that. So I'm going to have to cut up the blade and attempt to get it to look like it's not cut out, you know? I need to make it look like it's just the sword. I need to cut up the hand, basically. So let me get right onto that. First thing, because I'm going to need hands, I'm just going to put this aside because I do need hands for the claws. So there's that. Now, I'm also probably going to cut off this venom sac. There we go. So now I just need to cut up a bit more, sand smooth, to make it not look like a hand is holding the blade. Okay, cut off most of the hand. Now I'm just, smoothing out certain parts. I'm gonna have to do something about this massive gaping hole, but I'll figure that out when it's its turn to be thought about. There we go. Well, I almost hurt myself pretty badly there. There we go. And I'm gonna sand this down carefully. There we go. Nice and smooth. Now I just need to get rid of the hand. Oh, that is really not recording any of that. Let's get rid of the hand right here. There we go. It is now just a blade. I'm going to need to smooth some stuff out. I'm going to use a little bit of my liquid plastic to fill that gap, but we have the blade ready. There we go. A fully severed Tyrant sword. So, where'd I put the... There it is. So this will be resting inside of him. There we go. Let me move this so you get a... Resting inside of him on top like this, and one hand holding an arm and one hand holding the pilot. So I'll need to figure out how I'm posing him here, but I will. There we go. It's hard to show with one hand. Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. I have this, and I'm just using some putty. It's all still like a rough work in progress, but I'm gonna have him facing that direction. This torso is a little bit, or this waist is a little bit taller than the normal one, as you can tell, but it kind of works. It gives him a bigger profile to make this one my melee one, but I am digging it a lot. Okay, so this is it so far. I'm loving it. I think this is like genuinely one of the cooler things I've made. I have taken 2 of the saber arms, severed the sabers. Don't know what I'm ever going to use these for, but I'm definitely going to use them for something. But I'm going to pose them up like this probably. Have him like in each hand holding part of the guy. I'm going to have to string... I'm going to be doing a lot of paperclip work on this project. But I really like it. I'm kind of over the moon about how this is looking so far. So yeah, time to put more of these in here and keep messing with the posing. Oh, before that, these arms, oh, okay, well, before I fix that, what I was going to say was these arms are just a little too stubby for my taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off right here, and turn them into much longer claws, because look at the difference. Okay, so as I was saying before I dropped the model, these arms are too stubby for my taste, because look at them. This is a good, like, couple inches longer, and or centimeters, and I think that just looks cooler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here in that dividing part right there, and I'm going to save these for literally anything else. My bits bag is massive, and at some point I need to show people. So let's get to cutting. Okay. Arms done. I think I'm going to have one up here holding the arm, and then the one holding the piece of the robot's going to be down here. But I'm going to let the crazy glue on those dry. I'm going to have to reattach these venom sacks, and I'm going to have to think, where did his whip go? Because this build, when you do this, you know, with the swords and stuff, it has the sword and the whip. I need to find what he did with the whip. Maybe he just lost it. Maybe he just dropped it to look cool. You know? It's the one self-aware Tyranid that wants to look awesome. So, there it is. We're getting there. We are definitely getting there. There we go. None of him is glued, or most of him isn't glued. There he is. Wow. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think he looks super cool, super dynamic. I still need to sculpt the victim being pulled out, and I still need to prime the base, and I still need to get this arm in a position where I want him holding it, like he just ripped off the arm from one of them. So, super cool, super excited to see how this ends. Okay, so I've got pretty much everything done. I have everything ready except the pose, and I think the pose is more just going to be, I find it out in time. But I do need one more thing. A person for him to hold. So, I'm going to dig through my bags real quick and find my one with heads. There we go. So, normally, I never use the heads that are unhelmeted, because I'm not painting skin. That's awful. It's a pain. But I think I finally have a use for one. What I'm going to do is I just need to find one that I don't really care about, which is all unhelmeted heads. Here we go. Is anything viewable? But yeah, I'm basically going to take this. I'm going to make a small little milliput body. And then... easy. And then I might do strands attaching. I don't know, it's going to be really hard to do that if I'm not gluing him. And I don't want to glue him to the base yet, because there's going to be so many nooks and crannies. There's going to be so many little parts that I just don't... I don't know. No, you know what? I'm going to be responsible. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that as the last step. Yeah, as the last step, I will do the viscera. But I'm going to need to make a little body. So where is the tiny head I bought? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to get this head, and I'm just going to snip it just a tiny bit. And then grab some milliput. Okay, so let me try to get a good... There's no good way to video this head. There we go. So yeah, I shaved the back down, and now I'm just going to make a little milliput body. And to make sure it's as size accurate as I want it to be, I'm going to get a regular old marine, old dark angel, and measure, basically make the milliput similar to this, a little thinner, because it's a body, not... Do I already have some pre-mixed, or is it too... Yeah, this stuff's too hard. That's the problem with milliput. I need to get more at some point. But the problem with it is just, like, you either make too much or not enough. And when you make not enough, it's fine. When you make too much, it's not fine, because that stuff just dries up. So I just take half and half, and I start... This is my least favorite thing. Like, I understand why they don't sell pre-mixed, but if someone sold pre-mixed, man, I would buy a healthy amount of it. Okay. So, and I made too much. So, what I want to do, basically just like this, so that big, maybe round it one time. There we go. It's almost like one of those swaddled babies. A little swaddled baby. Okay. Then I just encase. And he... Come on. Let's get him in shot. There we go. And I'm not super, like, worried about how this looks overall because I'm going to paint it, and the color is not going to matter because I'm just covering this thing in blood. In the blood technical paint. And then I'm done. But yeah. So basically, let me grab the hand. He's going to be holding him. There we go. He's going to be holding him like a little baby burrito. There we go. The dry fitting is done. Look at that. Oh, he's shaking. Hold on. There we go. In one hand, the sarcophagus. One hand, the guy. There he is. He's looking down. He's beautiful. Okay. I have to hold the tail to maintain him in place. I'm not gluing him yet. I'm gluing him in parts and painting him in parts. Because that's a smart way to do big, crazy, like, bashes like this. But yeah. I am so happy with how this turned out. I can't believe it looks as good as it does. I still have a bunch of parts on the runner left. That's going to be for the flying one, and that's when I'm going to do that when I get the body, because I can't do anything without the body part. Let me show you the body that came in. Hold on. It's kind of funny. I've never set my camera up like this, and I'm realizing I probably should be setting it up like this more. Okay, but, so this guy, these are regular legs. He made it too small. So he's sending me another one. It's fine, but this is an amazing camera angle. I need to use this one more. But yeah, look at that. Menacing and everything. Wow. But all right, there we go. I am more than happy with how this turned out. Like, I'm actually ecstatic. Everything about it is perfect. This has easily become my favorite project. Like, look at this. Look how it's a sword holding, like, okay. It's a lot more cool when it works. But it's super cool. Everything about it is perfect. I'm happy with every single piece. I made this little guy. Oh, wow, he's slippery. This little guy for his hand. It's all great. And I have a new camera angle. I realized that I should be filming my videos more like this. Because, yeah. Because when I paint, now you guys can see stuff. Hopefully. Maybe. But, super cool. The only negative is now I need to one-up this guy. I need to one-up this guy. Or this guy with this guy. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I have time to think before the next torso comes in. But it's all done. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to paint this guy. The base especially. I always like to make sure the bases are interesting to look at and clash. This one's going to be really interesting because I'm going to do just regular Blood Angels Dread. But I cut a bunch of chunks out of it, ripped toes off, and I'm going to paint those metal. So it's like this guy's just been through a huge fight. Pilot got pulled out, and he's just like gawking at the next guy. It's going to be so cool. But thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, das vidanya.